Hi, this is Casey Tavasian.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Colonel Lee Schiller of the Watervliet Arsenal.
This is Chief Ron Boysford.
Hi, this is Paul Tondo.
Thank you for watching WVLT, Channel 17.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Colonel Lee Schiller of the Watervliet Arsenal. There's not a week that goes by that I don't watch Channel 17 and how important it is to this community, and I suggest and encourage you to do the same thing. Thank you.
When life's this hard, graduating can be even harder. But you can help Jose and the students in your community make it through by visiting boostup.org.
Hello everyone, I'm Mary Jo Hughes. The city of Watervliet had a productive year in 2013. The mayor and council have greatly strengthened the city's financial position and have implemented a host of creative solutions to generate new revenues while better serving the people of Watervliet. Now let's join in the 14th mayor of the city of Watervliet, Mike Manning, for his 7th State of the City address.
Okay, good morning everyone. We're going to get started. Just had to wait a few minutes there for Mr. Strand to get his class in here and get them settled. Do we have the thumbs up, Mr. Strand, to get started? Okay, thank you. Well, first let me say it's an honor to be here with you again this year in this great facility we have here at the high school. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone and give my thanks to Dr. Kaplan and Mr. Grote for permitting us to get in here and take up some of their valuable time and the time of the students here. And this year it only took us about 10 emails to actually pull off who needed what to get this going. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize our city team whose determination and drive on bettering our great city is something to be admired and recognized, and a lot of that team is standing around the upper deck up there. We should all take great pride that they are working for all of us here in the city of Watervliet. Let me also recognize council members Ellen Fogarty and Nick Fogley in the front row here. Some of other officials, thank you. Feel free to clap. And for the city workers around the top, too, give them a round of applause. Our Assembly member John McDonald and County Executive Dan McCoy couldn't be here today, but of course they'd love to add one more thing to their agenda. For the city of Watervliet to be successful, open communication between our government and the people is crucial, and governments need to understand the past while keeping an eye on the future as well. This annual address is an opportunity to accomplish all of the above, communicate with the public, reflect on our accomplishments, and look confidently towards tomorrow. So for me, this is one of the best days of the year. These State of the City addresses provide an opportunity to provide open channels of communication and information on a bigger scale. Now let's look at what we accomplished in 2013 and talk about how that relates into 2014. As far as finances, it's no secret the city's finances are a top priority of mine. Across the region, many municipalities and school districts are struggling economically and are being forced to make drastic cuts to important programs. I'm happy to report that at least for now, our city is on firm financial footing and is continuing to move in a positive direction. As you see on the chart behind me, for the second consecutive rating season, our bond rating has been raised. This year it was upgraded from single A to double A minus. If you follow baseball, we're kind of moving up through the minor leagues. The city's new double A minus rating is another great indicator of our fiscal health. as allowing us to maintain balanced operations. As far as the 2014 budget, we saw an increase of almost $100,000, but that didn't have a trickle-down impact to the taxpayers. Due to the tax rate actually increasing but the overall assessment decreasing, the average homeowner's taxes actually went down by about $8. Doesn't sound like a lot, so it's actually almost a freeze. Jobs are being lost all over the region, and local governments and school districts are making cuts to make their bottom lines meet. But in the city of Watervliet, the 2014 budget, we didn't have to eliminate any positions, any full-time positions. And for the third consecutive year, we've stayed under the 2% property tax cap. However, Watervliet, as we continue to buck the economic trend and stay afloat here, we've been doing that with an inherent disadvantage. Watervliet continues to receive a lower state aid per capita than any other full-service community in the region and probably throughout the state. This simply isn't fair, and we'll ask the state to level the playing field and conduct a thorough review of this funding distribution yet again. As far as economic development, since taking office, I've worked to make our city more business-friendly. I firmly believe the key to economic survival lies in job creation. The city has worked closely with federal, state, and county leaders, as well as representatives from the Arsenal Partnership and the Arsenal itself, in support of efforts to attract private business to the 144-acre Watervliet Arsenal. Previously unused space within the Arsenal is now home to international companies, and the Arsenal Partnership is helping brand Watervliet as a center for cutting-edge technology. This is having a trickle-down effect on the other businesses in Watervliet outside the walls of the Arsenal. We saw momentous improvements in economic development thanks to the utilization of available grant funding from New York State. New businesses opened their doors in Watervliet, like Holbrook Heating, a contractor specializing in residential and light commercial HVAC, has grown its business into a new home at 547 Broadway. This expansion was made possible thanks to Watervliet's partnership with the New York State Office of Homes and Community Renewal, which allowed the city, in conjunction with the Watervliet Local Development Corp., to assist Holbrook with the purchase by securing the down payment funds. So we have companies moving here, not only moving here, but actually buying property. It's exciting. We also welcome a new neighbor to our blossoming downtown as Jenna's Salon opened at 618 19th Street. Like others on 19th Street, Jenna's was the recipient of a small business grant that allowed the proprietor to fulfill her ambitions and is the latest addition to the downtown area. Jenna's neighbor, the local Flavor Cafe, is another Watervliet small business success. In 2013, local Flavor Cafe celebrated its grand opening and has been thriving since. The new cafe is a New York State-only supplier that sells many products from other businesses in the community. We're building momentum and positioning ourselves to further attract this growth. The city's first ever comprehensive master plan was completed in 2011, and in 2013 the city developed a new zoning code aligning the city's zoning code with that comprehensive plan. In the spirit of modernization, the city is moving forward with a comprehensive, sustainable, and smart approach to economic development as building a strong community to live and work in. Revisions to our entire charter and city code are currently underway as well. Geographically, our city is perfectly positioned in Tech Valley. Our location is easily accessible to downtown Albany, the Empire State Plaza, area hospitals, and universities. In 2013, the city of Watervliet completed its bicycle master plan study, which addresses connectivity to these surrounding areas via bike. Watervliet is a storied city with a long history. For a variety of reasons, some local structures are no longer being used for the original purpose, and it's vital that we are doing everything we can to prevent these valuable properties from falling into disrepair. This is why the city has made rehabilitation one of its priorities. The Planning and Grant Development Department assisted 9 two-family homes this year and 11 single-family homes with rehabilitations and energy efficiency improvements ranging from new furnaces, new windows, siding, insulation, electrical, roofs. This resulted in more than $400,000 worth of improvements. The city, as we do every year, has applied for more of these housing rehabilitation grants to continue to allow families to improve their living conditions. Our waterfront, the parklands surrounding it, and improving access to both of those are critically important. We've taken many steps at Hudson Shores Park to ensure increased access to the Hudson River. Access was cut off, as you know, with the building of 787 many years ago, and we're working to reestablish the ties of the city to the riverfront. We've installed docks, an easy dock, kayak and boat launch that's the home of our Hudson River Heroes Kayaking Club for wounded veterans. Fishermen, all sorts of activities are taking place in the park. The city of Watervliet is a community built around the innovations and evolution of sustainable design, green technology, and is committed to preserving its green space. We're also finding that going green is saving the city some green. The city of Watervliet released late last year our first full year evaluation of our energy savings compilations, and we were able to save or avoid costs of more than $146,000. Thanks to a committed approach of conserving energy and installing renewable energy measures. Some of these measures include energy efficiency measures at all of the city-owned buildings, measures at our hydroelectric facility and pumping station in Guilderland, the solar installations that we've shown previously on top of the firehouse, the senior center, and the boathouse in Hudson Shores, new energy-efficient lighting, and multiple energy conservation measures that have been taken in all of our buildings, including the dome. Several other projects are in the pipeline that will continue to make the city more environmentally conscious and continue to save money, the bottom line. These projects include exploring remote net metering of the electricity we produce at the hydro plant in Guilderland, and continue the focus on waste reduction, where landfill waste is down by about 33% over the last 4 years, and recyclables are up 300%. Contributing to this successful decrease in landfill waste is our Watervliet Organic Waste Program, also known as WOW, which is being ramped up citywide after a successful 6-month pilot program. In 2014, you'll see us start to partner with the Watervliet Housing Authority for further expansion of that program, and we'll be installing a grinder to process the waste and hopefully an anaerobic digester to turn that waste into compost and usable fuel. This new equipment will allow the city to continue to decrease landfill waste and could lead to new revenue streams for the city. Savings from the WOW program, should it go full scale, we think if we get up to 75% participation with the reduction in land waste, we could save about $25,000 a year and not be contributing to the landfill. Speaking of green, Office and Parks and Recreation, as in the past years, the department will host a number of events that help build our local community identity. Ongoing events like the tree lighting, breakfast with the Easter Bunny, the Arsenal City Run, help to build a Watervliet brand and allow the residents to take pride in our community. In an effort to beautify the city and promote green initiatives, the department has made a concerted effort to increase the production of flowers for use in the city. We produce these in the dome in the off-season and have them ready to go when the warmer weather, if the warmer weather ever rolls around. The department also made plants available to local seniors, students, and residents to assist with indoor growing and planting, with the aim of increasing the number of plants available for city use. To improve the Veteran Memorial Pool, last year we installed a new filter, and this year we'll be installing a new plastic liner that will allow us not to have to put so much prep time into getting the pool going every year. We'll once again offer certified swimming instruction for our residents at the pool in the summer free of charge. This year on Veterans Day, a new monument was added, a new plaque was added to our monument down there. We added 45 names to that, We are currently in the process of canvassing for additional names. This is a process that, try as we may, we never seem to get out to everybody, and we always get people coming to ask to have their name on the plaque as soon as the plaque has been put up. So we've got a drive going, and in 2018, after the current application process is completed, we'll add those names that we collect. The Public Works Department, pretty visible at this time of year. Everyone in the room is fully aware of the amount of snow and weather we've had this winter, and our Public Works deserves a big round of applause. There's not many of them here today, but we've been out there ensuring the roadways are as safe as possible as soon as possible. Thanks. There's many experts. We are learning there's many experts within the city that know how to do snow removal better, faster, where to put the snow, where to put other things. Planning community development. We mentioned some of the highlights with the rehab earlier, but this department continues to do great work for us. It's really our main conduit to state funding. We've moved about $700,000 in grant funding out in the community over the last couple years. Some of the highlights there, we received a Main Street grant for $110,000 to assist the facades, rehab of facades at Tri-City Foods, and the second floor and facade of Towpath Florals down in Port Schuyler. We got a $200,000 micro enterprise grant that assisted various local businesses like Axis Salon, the new Uptown Wine and Spirits on 19th Street, JJ's Cycles, and again, Laurel's Towpath Florals, to help them expand or start their businesses. The department's putting together a plan to go out and recanvass our Main Street businesses on 19th Street and 3rd Ave in Port Schuyler, hopefully to put together a package that can be marketed as another grant for those areas. Any business that's contemplating expanding or relocating to Watervliet definitely should reach out and contact us. We've got a great relationship with the state, and we've parlayed that into successful grant applications. We can receive grants up to $350,000 per year for a business or a combination of businesses. Give the department a call, and we'll be able to work that for you. It's easy, and it's just good business. Also this year, in conjunction with the Community Loan Fund of Albany, we'll be holding an entrepreneurial training class at the Senior Center on Monday and Wednesday nights. We've done this before with great success, and we make this class the foundation for being eligible for the grants. The fundamental planning concepts and tools to help start and run a successful small business are covered in that class. Inside City Hall, we're excited to welcome our new city clerk who's joining us today. Up top, Jeremy Smith. Round of applause. Longtime clerk Bruce Hidley moved on after 22 years serving the city. He's now serving us all down in Albany County. We're already missing Bruce. As you know, he wasn't to introduce me today with his resounding intro that he's been given over the last couple of years. Jeremy said he'll be ready to do that probably in 6 months, I think, right? Jeremy's been active in the community, and for those of us here at the school, you've seen him around the weight room here and on the field. He's worked as a football coach here, as well as his professional career as well. Hitting the ground running, the clerk's office is continuing to automate the process at City Hall. Currently, all the legislation is now electronically stored and available at the clerk's office or on our website. And we plan on making all documents that we use to do business at City Hall available electronically. Too often, the city's history is lost through time. To combat this and ensure that Watervliet's history is being properly preserved, the clerk's office is also currently going through and scanning all of the microfilm at City Hall. Some of this film dates back to the 1800s and includes vital statistics like marriage, birth, and death records, the old council meeting minutes, and historical news from the time. The clerk's office has also applied to New York State DEC to once again be able to provide sporting licenses at City Hall. We did away with that a number of years ago, and now in order to get a hunting or fishing license, you have to outside the city or to a sporting goods store. So we hope to have that online in 2014 as well. The Watervliet Police Department, again, we talk about this every year. I got down here that they had a banner year. Banner year is measured by you don't have to hear about them. They're out there doing their job and taking care of us. Our crime rates are always low, and to be up front, we've had a few incidents that are of note, but when we do have them, they're efficiently controlled and closed out. The police department related here to the school is currently developing a youth court in conjunction with the school district and other outside entities. The youth court will be designed to address infractions initially here at the school and then progress to infractions in the community as an alternative means for adjudication of juvenile offenses. The police department will continue to deploy their bike patrol during suitable weather and remain a presence in and around the city parks in an effort to deter undesirable behavior. We're currently working on another project to strategically incorporate cameras in areas throughout the city to assist with accident investigation and public safety issues. This project, like many others, is paid for by our asset and forfeiture program. And as I've practiced this new technology is crapped out again, I'm almost done. I'm going to switch to manual mode here and lead into the fire department. The fire department, similar to the police department, where I guess we don't want to have police and fire calls, but the fire department this year had well over 2,000 calls. That turns out to be almost 6 a day. They do work 24-hour shifts, so they're going out 6 times a day, and sometimes those come right back, and sometimes not. 1,400 of those are EMS calls. Fire services around, not only Watervliet, but around probably New York State and everywhere else, are becoming almost predominantly EMS. Luckily, the number of structure fires have gone down. But EMS seems to be on the rise, and with the implementation of our ambulance a couple years ago, we're well positioned for that. In 2013, we had over 1,100 people taken to a hospital via the ambulance. The fire department, again, continued our grant writing success and received a $240,000 assistance to firefighter grant. That's federally funded through Homeland Security, and that paid for new Scott air packs. You see the firemen wearing them when they have to go into burning buildings, and a recharging station so we can fill them in-house as opposed to sending them out to be refilled. The fire department also completed the final step of our partnership with Green Island. We helped them complete their certificate of need, which puts them in the permanent position to determine what ambulance service provides that service for their village. And currently, Watervliet Ambulance is the #1 ambulance service provider to the village. We're both backed up by private ambulance. So, a lot of details there. In summary, we had a pretty good 13. We closed out the 13-year on budget, and we're able to roll that into a 2014 budget. We still have a decent fund balance, knock on wood, and that doesn't make us get complacent. We treat every year as if we're going to run out of money so that we're well positioned. But as we continue to move forward, we plan to continue on our path of promoting green initiatives, sustainability, rehabilitation, partnering with New York State to bring in any grant funds that we can, so we can provide the best services and living conditions here in Watervliet. I'm going to wrap up with a little anecdote that I think applies to the way when I heard it, I thought it applies to the way we've been running the city, but it's also appropriate to most of the audience here today as far as planning your education and professional career. An NFL player, 15-year veteran, was a center for the Baltimore Ravens, was on the team when they won the Super Bowl, has just published a book, and I don't have the title, but it's seven items of wisdom, or 7 ways to achieve greatness or achieve success. And he was asked to it's a book with 7 things in it, but he was asked to roll it all into one, and he summarized that by saying, if there's one thing that you can do to achieve success, it's get back to basics and work on the fundamentals. And he followed that by saying consistency is the hallmark of greatness. So the advice here is taking care of business, and for us it's providing the best possible services at the lowest cost. And I guess for you folks here, the basics are reading, writing, and arithmetic. And if we do these things consistently, create the foundation with the basics, don't go looking for the shortcut or the lottery ticket all the time. Build your foundation here at the school. Do good work consistently, and you'll be able to achieve success. I think that's what we're doing at the city, and I know the school administration trying to do the same thing. So that's my parting advice to you. I'll wrap it up here, and thank you for your attention, and allow you all to get back to class or lunch. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next year.
And joining us now is Mayor Mike Manning. Mayor, how are you today?
Doing well, Mayor Jo. Thank you.
Thank you for being here with us. Now, during your State of the City address, you spoke on a number of topics, and I'd like to touch on just a few of those right now. Municipal finances. Mayor, you began your State of the City address today by stating you need to understand the past while keeping an eye on the future. Your past history has proven deficits do not stand in your way. You have taken the city's deficit and turned it into over a $1 million fund balance. You report that Watervliet is on firm financial footing and is continuing to move in a positive direction. The city's bond rating rose once again to a AA. Why is that so significant?
The bond rating is significant because it's not just us saying it. I can stand up here and say we're financially on firm footing, but the bond rating itself, it's a complicated system, and there's different levels, and what do they all mean? But to us, it means an outside entity, a third party, is taking an in-depth look at us and saying we're worthy enough to be considered as an upper level risk. That's basically what it says, right? And then they give you a improving, stable, or downwarding trend, and we're stable. So we've got a good rating, and they see us as stable. We see ourselves as stable too, but the stable implies a period of time. So as the state of a city is at a point in time, things can change, and they can change rapidly. So right now we're on firm financial footing. A couple disasters and that could change. So that's why you can't rest on your laurels and just say, oh, we're in good shape. We got to be approaching like we're not in good shape.
The 2014 budget saw an increase of $96,000 over the previous years, with no additional burden to the taxpayers. Property assessments decreased, with no job cuts to any full-time city employees, police, fire.
Correct. Yep. We're the increase is 96,000 out of almost 11 million, so it's a relatively small increase, a couple percent. And usually that's related to things we can't control: costs of health insurance, retirement fund contributions, insurance premiums. We don't have a lot of control over those, so as those increase, we're trying to offset them with decreases in other areas or increases in revenue. So to stay plus or minus a couple percent is doing very well, and to not have it impact the lives of our city workers and have to lay people off or have them in jeopardy laying off is makes it a better work environment, of course.
Of course. Watervliet continues to receive a lower state aid per capita than any other full-service municipality in the region. As you say, it continues to buck the economic trend, even though the city is at a disadvantage.
Right. Well, I mean, if we had more state aid, the budgeting process would be easier. We mention this every year, and you don't want it to become something that's sour grapes. It should be mentioned, and hopefully at some point the state can do something about it. The aid is unevenly distributed for whatever reason. We talk about this with our Assembly and Senate representatives all the time. Even John McDonald, being a former mayor himself, he knows the drill. There just hasn't been any movement on it. So it's there. We deal with it, and we keep bringing it up in the hopes that it changes in our favor sometime.
Public safety.
Yes.
Now, it goes without saying, this winter has certainly been a tough one, and snow removal is one of the biggest challenges for a municipality. How do you ensure residents are informed of snow removal procedures? And is there anything you would like to say to the residents on this topic?
Yeah, I'll start with the latter. The first thing to say is that stay informed. If it snows, we're probably going to be doing something, and cooperate, and then the whole thing goes smoothly. We use any media outlet we can to get word out. We notify all the papers, we notify all the TV stations, all the radio stations. We have our website. We have WVLT, of course, and we have we've built a contact list by filling out a form. So people can give us their cell phones, their emails, their texts, whatever home phone, whatever phone. We can put up to 4 or 5 different contact sources in your file, and we can automatically dial, text, or email those when we're doing a snow emergency. You could also just call City Hall. Are we having a snow emergency? So back to the cooperation part. Meet us halfway. Answer your phone if it rings. Check VLT or the news if it snows, or just if you're unsure, give a call, because as we know, we do tow cars. We've tried all the different methods, but the streets are small and tight, and we got to get the cars out of there. And if you're cooperating, it's no problem. If you're not cooperating, that's when the problems occur.
Planning and community revitalization. The city has seen renovation and rehabilitation in some of its buildings and homes. Why do you feel the housing rehabilitation grants are so important to the Watervliet community?
Well, because of the age of our housing stock, and the economic times we're in. It's very difficult. Everyone recognizes that as you go around, so there could be some touch-ups done. Or more importantly, the houses were built at a time when there wasn't an eye on energy efficiency and insulation, and these things are relatively inexpensive in the grand scheme of a house, but in the grand scheme of a household struggling in tough times, these grants, which are normally in the $20,000 to $25,000 range, you can get a lot of work done for that, and really turn a piece of property around. And by turning the properties around, it individually, it only, as we assemble that, helps the whole city, makes it a better place to live, a better place to raise your children, and we need to attract people. As we lose people by attrition, we need to attract new people in, and that's one way to do it.
New businesses continue to move into the city, and people are encouraged to start businesses here.
Yeah, our location is very convenient. I mentioned the state of the city. Holbrook Heating just moved here. They're a Syracuse company, and they were expanding into eastern New York and western New England. And the regional manager's from Mechanicville, and he knew right away where he wanted to be to set up his eastern New York shop. And we had a piece of property that was vacant down on Broadway. Was a former supply warehouse was just what they needed. They just needed big open space, and it's the right model. They don't have a lot of employees on site that create a lot of parking needs and traffic. If we can move, we're ecstatic to have someone move in and lease space, but if they're going to move in and buy space, then they're putting some skin in the game, and that's really exciting.
Sustainability and green initiatives. You mentioned going green has saved the city more than $146,000 in less than a year. That's a significant savings. How help drive that number up?
Well, that's the result of initiatives we've done in our buildings, our operations, efficient lighting, windows, etc. Those all can be replicated, and residents can get a free assessment of what to do by National Grid or NYSERDA. You can get a free energy audit, and then whether or not you can pull off the improvements, that's where these grants come in. So I would encourage everyone to get the energy audit and then make their to-do list of ways to help get savings like we got in the city operations.
Solar panels, as you said, have been installed on a number of buildings.
Yep, we've up and running for a couple years now in the firehouse, senior center, and the boathouse. And when it's sunny out, they make power, and it's almost enough to provide enough power for, at their peak, it can provide enough for the whole building. So, at worst, it's a decrease in the cost, and at best, it's paying for the whole building. There's times where we had on the firehouse, the electricity generator was actually more than we needed, which we get a credit for. So, it's those things work, and now it's just the maintenance and how long do they last part, which we'll only know over time.
Parks and recreation. In 2013, over 1,200 flowers were enjoyed by all in the parks and in the boulevards. In an effort to beautify the city, Watervliet is growing its own plants indoors with no cost to the city. How do residents get plants and or help out with this program?
They can get the plants by contacting Bob Loya in the rec department or calling my office. But this is all being done in the dome. In the wintertime, we have elaborate grow system set up that we got from confiscated drug operations. So we've put that back to good use. But this is something that Bob Loya started on his own and has blossomed, if you will. Each year we're growing more and more plants and more different types of plants. And we had an experiment this last year of hanging flower baskets on the light posts. The unusually hot summer did us in there, but with lessons learned, we'll know how to prevent that next time. But anyone can get involved just by calling and asking to get involved.
You mentioned the city's municipal pool needed some maintenance. Why is the pool such an important part of the community?
Well, it's really not known how important it is until we have a summer like we had last year, and we wound up keeping it open late or extended hours just to have people afford to cool off. But it's back to the economic times. Not everybody has a pool. Not everybody has the chance to cool off, and we're lucky that we can still provide a service like that. With today's climate of insurance and the risks you take by having something like that. And it's a maintenance. It has to be taken care of, or it just costs you money. Last year we had issues with the filter, the pumps, and it's a concrete pool with the walls have to be painted and kept up to snuff to pass Department of Health. Your pool has to be released by the Department of Health every year, and it's a struggle to get that every year because of the maintenance required on the pool itself. We've stolen the idea from a couple of local municipalities that have had a custom main liner designed for their pool, and then it becomes more like your pool at your house, where the liner, absent of tearing it somehow, provides a more maintenance-free solution, and we hope that helps us get it will put a lot less time in. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars every year painting and scraping and labor on getting the pool ready, and that should all go away. Knock on wood.
45 new names were added to the Veterans Memorial Monument last year, with more being added in 2018. How does one obtain an application to have a loved one added?
The application is available on our website online, or the applications are at the clerk's office as you walk into City Hall, or like anything else, you could call my office or call the general manager's office, and that can be arranged for you.
City Clerk. Watervliet has a new city clerk, Jeremy Smith. Tell us about him.
Jeremy is born and bred here, so those employees always seem to work out best. You don't have to teach them the Watervliet way. But Jeremy's been out in service industries, educated, went to Marist College, played sports here, and in college, and now he's coaching here with us, raising his family here. Journalism major, so he's well read and well written. So I mean, he's got all the boxes checked, and only a couple weeks in, and he's already starting to make an impact. Really glad to have him blended in with the team nicely. So I think he's going to be a great addition.
Great. You stated the city has applied to provide sporting licenses to its residents. In addition to this being a convenience to the residents, will this also drive in some revenue?
Yeah. You collect a fee for the license, which is shared with the state, but that wasn't the major reason. The major reason was more for a service, make City Hall one-stop shopping, and we had that ability and fell by the wayside. So we're looking to get that revved up again this year. Just another thing we can provide at a not a big additional cost.
And finally, the police. The police department is currently developing a youth court, which will give students an opportunity to sentence their peers for minor infractions. Why do you think this program is important to the city as well as to the students themselves?
Well, it's important to the students for a couple of reasons. On the positive side, that they'll be running the court, so it gives them an opportunity to learn how something like that operates, and they're more in tune with how serious an infraction is here at the school, perhaps, say, than a judge or a social worker or something. So, maybe it's going to be a little bit more fair. On the other side of the bench, if you're one of the ones committing the infraction, it's maybe giving you another chance to work out a problem rather than have to take it into the court system, where you could probably get much more severe consequences. So kids make mistakes, and like a lot of times, a lot of those type of issues can be solved like in any environment. If you can work it out internally, it's better than having to go out and air your dirty laundry. So I think it's a positive step. We've talked about it for a number of years, and now taking the initiative with the police force, with our presence here with a student resource officer, school resource officer in the school all the time. This was the logical next step. So I'm glad that in this the officers don't have to do this, and this is one of the nice things that you get, I think, in a small community like Watervliet, where the police want to stay in tune. And in fairness to them, it's a way for them to be proactive and catch stuff early too, before things can get out of hand. So the police and the fire, as everyone knows, is just a great asset here. It takes up a big part of our budget, but I don't get too many complaints about how we're spending that money.
In summary, Mayor, the city has had another very successful year, but as you say, not to be complacent and stay one step ahead. Mayor Mike Manning, thank you, and Godspeed in the year ahead.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you for watching Mayor Mike Manning's 2014 State of the City Address, and thank you for watching your award-winning WVLT Channel 17. I'm Mary Jo Hughes.
Okay. Hi, I'm Laurel, and this is
Katie.
And we're from Laurel's Florals at 736 3rd Avenue in Watervliet. And we're your local florist, and we do all kinds of wedding work, funeral work, and all kinds of occasion flowers for proms and get-wells and anything you can possibly think of. And we do all sorts of silks and plants. And we usually have a beautiful variety of flowers on hand daily. Thank you.
Saw your shirt, and it was awesome. Go to sawyorshirt.com.
Take 10 seconds to imagine the face of your best friend, your coworker, your classmate, your hero, the face of a veteran, a senior on a fixed income. Now, I want you to imagine them without a home. More than 2 million people in America rely on public housing to provide a home for their families, and there are at least 500,000 waiting for a safe place to live. I'm Jewel, and I'd like you to join me and rethink how public housing is supporting your community.
Hi, this is Casey Tomasian.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Colonel Lee Schiller of the Watervliet Arsenal.
This is Chief Ron Boysford. Hi, this is Paul Tonto.
Thank you for watching WVLT Channel 17.